Afternoon, everybody. I'm so used to saying good evening, but this time it's a good afternoon, and welcome to the RaceFace Endurance Series. This time it's going to be a slightly longer race, and by slightly longer I mean it's going to be a 24-hour race. Currently the cars are starting to line up on the grid. As we know, qualifying has already been completed, so there's no qualifying in this round. My name is Jan van Price. I'm going to hang with you for, I'm not going to say the majority of 24 hours. I'm going to be in and out and keeping you company, and some other people might also hop into the commentary box and keep me a bit company. My fellow partner in crime, Stephen Koenig, he's unfortunately a bit busy today, so he's only going to join a bit later. But as we watch the cars line up on the grid, let's quickly run through the starting order that we have for this 24-hour race. In pole position we've got Jordan Sherritt, followed by Tariq Adams, then Bernard Barkhuizen in third place. Then we've got Ethan de Kuna in fourth place, Dean Norkier fifth place, Paul Venter in sixth, Jason McGregor in seventh, Eugene van Lochenberg in eighth position, Eric Costain in ninth, Martin Rotenbach in 10th position, and then Dean Cabassa in 11th. Then we've got Daniel de Villiers in 12th, Paul Gerber in 13th, Graham Mall in 14th, Ruan Sillier in 15th, Tinas Buerta in 16th place, Ryan Harmon in 17th, Neil Bouillon in 18th, then we got Lenny in 19th, and George Rotenbach in 20th position. Now all of these drivers are representing their respective teams in this 24-hour race. For those of you who have not done a 24-hour race before, it sometimes tends to be kind of more like of a mental thing than what it is, the racing and the battling for position thing. My last 24-hour was a couple of weeks ago. I think it was about 3 weeks ago, where me and Steven had the horrible idea we're going to compete in a 24-hour race with just two drivers. But we made it 24 hours. It was a long 24 hours, but we did it. So that's why I'm saying it's a lot of the time a lot more of a mental thing than what it is the racing for position thing. As we see the drivers, Jordan Sherritt leading out the way, heading out on their formation lap. Just a quick note about the stream. It's not your normal 2 hours or so stream. It is a 24-hour stream. We are dealing with the reality of load shedding, so we are sometimes going to switch over to different systems, switch over to different backup systems as the race go along, but we hope to bring you as much of the action as possible. So this is it, the formation lap. Now you're going around this formation lap and you're thinking to yourself, this is 24 hours that lie ahead. This is not a normal race. This is going to be tough. As you see the drivers lining up, all 21 cars on the grid, trying to get some heat into those tires, trying to get some heat into those brakes. Now, as we all know, Spa-Francorchamps is one of the iconic tracks to race on. It's also one of the slightly longer race tracks that you'll find, so the lap times tend to be in the 2-minute 18 to 2-minute 22 range, depending on the speed of the driver. It's got iconic corners like Eau Rouge, leading up to Radion, down the Camel Straight, and for ACC, Assetto Corsa Competizione, the iconic Eau Rouge is also turn 1. But this being a 24-hour race, I think these drivers in the first stint might just want to go around, try and find their feet a little bit, try and survive the first stint with no damage. That's also how we try to do it when you do the endurance races. Doesn't matter what endurance race we do, 6 hours, 12 hours, 24. That's always our aim for the first stint. Try and go through the first stint with no damage. Try and keep on that pit stop strategy. Do not make any unnecessary pit stops, because This being an endurance race, it is a race that can be won or lost in the pits. Having a look now at Jordan Sherritt. He's just trying to bunch up the field a little bit. Tariq Adams behind him. He's rearing to go. He wants Jordan to get on with it, but Jordan not having it. He's going to bunch them up. Jordan Sherritt, as we all know, has got a monumental amount of experience, so he's not going to mind Tariq behind him. He's going through his pre-race procedures, warming tires, warming brakes, and getting ready to go. Will be interesting to see what happens once they hit that start finish line. What will happen as soon as they get through Eau Rouge? Will the cars at the back try to keep in the slipstream of the car in front and try and make a pass, which is essentially turn 2, and try and go for that overtake? But at this stage, Jordan Sherritt just going through the procedures. He's bunching up the field a little bit. They will start getting the notifications soon to start moving to the left and the right hand side, to start forming the grid, and that will be the start of this 24. Just a quick shout out to all our sponsors, which is RaceFace.Pro. We have got a Resource Complete, then Karibu Networks, and also joining is Extreme Service Center. A big shout out to you, and without you this would not be possible. As we see them go through the bus stop chicane, this is not, although this is the start finish line of the lap, this will not be the start of the race. They're going to go around this long pit lane through turn 1, and the race will start on the other side. Also, one thing to note, Spa, one of the longest pit lanes that you can get. It's extremely long, so it's essentially a double pit. Right, as we see the grid being formed, go through the turn. They're going to start lining up, waiting for that green light, hitting that 70 kilometers an hour mark. Don't get a false start, don't jump the start. So we've got Jordan Sherritt on the outside, Tariq Adams on the inside, waiting for the race to go. And we are off. 24 hours of racing. Looks like Jordan Sherritt is moving over to cover Tariq through Eau Rouge at this stage. Looks like they're getting through that clean. So we watch everybody go through Eau Rouge, but it is Jordan Sherritt out in the lead, followed by Tariq Adams, Bernard Barkhuizen in third place, Ethan Lacuna making up the top 4. The top 4 at this stage putting out a little bit of a gap over the rest of the field, as we see Dean Orkey in 5th place, following them through. Behind him is Jason McGregor, followed by Paul Venter, Eric Kirstein, Martin Rotenbach, and Lionel Klug making up the top 10. These are all the drivers starting the race, but obviously there will be drivers waiting in the wings to take over from them a little bit further out into the race. Tariq Adams leading through the field, followed closely by Jordan Sherritt, followed by Tariq Adams, and behind them Bernard Barkhuizen. Now, if the start looks a bit different to you, it's because it is. This is a 24-hour race. So you might see at the start of the race, as I mentioned before, you guys might be taking it a little bit easier. There's 23 hours and 50 minutes left of racing in this race. As the drivers make their way around the circuit, lap 1 of 24 hours. I for one know how that feels, and for now you're not thinking about that. You're trying to keep this car on the track. You're trying to filter through the laps, just make them tick over. Try not to get into any sort of predicament. Try not to pick up any sort of damage. In 16th place, as we see Reinhard Harman making his way through, having a little look on the inside there, but deciding against it. In front of him we've got Graham Moll, and Raymond Harman just having a little look there, as we see in front of them is that Ruensil. He is running a little bit wide and getting overtaken by the likes of Paul Gerber and Graham Moll now also making up a little bit of ground on him. At the back of the field we've got Flip van Zyl. He's lost a bit of ground, currently running, looks like almost 35 seconds behind the rest of the fields, as we're just waiting for the timing screens to make get a little bit of a catch up. Looks like it's more like 14 seconds behind the rest of the field. So Flip van Zyl having a little bit of a moment at the start of the race, so he's got a little bit of catch up to do. Does not look like there's any amount of visible damage on the BMW, so might just have had a little bit of an off. But as we all know, 24-hour race, you've got more than enough time to make up that time. Out in the front, Jordan Sherritt has opened up a little bit of a gap over Tariq Adams, followed by Bernard Barkhuizen 1.8 seconds behind. So the front of the field has opened up a little bit, but further backwards we've got Paul Gerber, and he's trying to make a move on Lionel Klue, only 0.3 of a second behind. And further back we've got Niall Bouillon, only 0.2 seconds behind Tinus Buerta, so also trying to make his move further up the field. Paul Gerber's battle with Lionel Klue. They've now closed that gap up to the rest of the field again. So Paul Gerber 0.5 of a second behind. And looks like Flip van Zyl at the back of the field. He's made up a bit of time now, only 12.5 seconds behind George Rotenbach. So he's making up a little bit of time after his presumed little mishap at the start of the race. Out in front, Jordan Sherritt has very quickly opened up a 2-second gap over Tariq Adams, but Tariq also opening up a 2.3 second gap over Bernard Barkhuizen. So it does look like the top two is pulling slightly away from the rest of the field. It's Ethan Lacuna at this stage only 0.9 of a second behind. Jason McGregor is trying to make his way up the field, only 0.5 seconds behind Evan Kier. As we look at the Mercedes following that Aston Martin, he's trying to study him and see where he can possibly make his move to gain that position. Then we've also got Paul Gerber in 12th place, only 0.5 seconds behind Lionel Klue, but Dean Kabasa not too far behind. As we have a look back from Dean Kabasa's car, you can see the rest of the field now driving in the cockpit with him. That's how the field in front looks like. So at this stage, still a fairly busy track, and that will, as the race go on, filter out. The cars will start spreading wider and further apart, and you'll start picking up those little battles that develop throughout the field throughout this 24-hour race. Looking a little bit further back, we've got Niall Bouillon. He's backing it out with Reinhard Harman and Tinus Buerta. All three of them running very closely together behind Graham Moll in front of them. So this is a nice little four-car battle that's starting to develop. In the background there we can see Reinhard Harman. He's trying to find his way past Tinus Buerta, but Tinus Buerta having a little look on the inside there, deciding against it. Still a long race to go, and at this stage I think just that self-preservation kicking in. no need to take any risks at this stage of the race. Out in front, Jordan Sherritt now has opened up a 3.3 second gap over Tariq Adams. And Tariq Adams, he's opened up a 3-second gap over Bernard Barkhuizen, but Bernard Barkhuizen is followed relatively closely by Ethan Lacuna. So Bernard Barkhuizen not pulling away from Ethan, but the top two, Jordan Sherritt and Tariq Adams, they are starting to stretch their legs just a little bit. So we have a look how this for a battle between Daniel de Villiers, Eric Costain, Lionel Klug, Paul Gerber following them through, and followed closely behind is Dean Cabasa. So the midfield positions 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, they are running relatively close to each other. So this part of the field has by no means stretched out yet. This battle, Eric Costain now only 0.2 seconds behind Daniel de Villiers, but Daniel de Villiers running not that far behind Martin Rotenbach, but Eric Costain, Lionel Klug, Paul Gerber, these three are certainly not hanging back during the early parts of this race. So we have a look at the view from above, very closely through that bus stop chicane. Look at Daniel de Villiers. He's going to have a little look, deciding against him. Staying right behind him. Now they're going to run side by side with Lionel Klug going up to Rouge. Is one of them going to back out on this move? Yes. Oh, that Honda looks like it got him at skirmish one off track there. Oh, contact! We've got contact through Eau Rouge, and that was a pity. That's gonna... Eric Costain looks like he's got a little bit of damage now on that car. We go to the TV cam, bonnet busted, car's crabbing. So he's definitely gonna have that. Gonna have to get that fixed. Now that was the thing that I was chatting about earlier. That throws you now out of your pit stop strategy, if you want to call it that. So now you have to pit a little bit earlier. Bouillon and Costain picking up that damage. They are now going to run out of their pit stop strategy with only just over 10 minutes gone in the race, having to make a pit stop. That's now gonna throw you out of sync a bit. Just having a little bit of a look at that is Neil Bouillon. BMW there does not look too bad. But out in front, Jordan Sherritt stretching his legs now, 5.1 seconds ahead. Tariq Adams, he is 4 seconds ahead from Bernard Barkhuizen, and then the rest behind Bernard Barkhuizen, not too far behind still, Ethan Lacuna. He can see Bernard Barkhuizen through his windscreen, and he's trying to close out that gap. Look at our YouTube. We've got a couple of comments on there. WT said, let's go boys. Bernard King, let's go. Mr. Porsche GT says, go Sherritt. And then Bernard King says again, good luck everyone. Peter Solomon also, good luck boys. And so we definitely got a little bit of support from our YouTube channel. Definitely, I think as this race goes on, support is going to be needed. That's Dean Cabasa in the wall. Dean Kabasa has lost it somewhere, and he had to tow back to pits. So Dean Kabasa losing it out and will have to return to pits to fix the damage he sustained in that accident. And that is gonna set themselves back a bit. So at this stage, you have a look. Dean Kabasa 19th. Eric Costain, he's only coming out of the pits now, or coming into the pits now, I should say, with still a busted Mercedes. And we've got Paul Gerber, who's also gone into the pits. This has resulted that this man, Flip van Zyl, has now made his way up to 18th position. And that just shows it how quickly things can change in these endurance races. Eric Costain, he's going down the pit lane. That Mercedes does look a little bit busted. You can have a look at the car coming past. We'll be able to see. If we have a look at Dean Kabasa's cars. Eric Costain now in the pits to get the car fixed. Forward to Martin Rotenbach. He's in a little battle with Daniel de Villiers, and they are trying to go side by side through there. Lionel Clue also joining in the action. So these three are certainly not hanging back. They are still jostling for position and trying to sort themselves out. A little further back we got George Rotenbach. He is following Reginald Ntaleni. He's about 0.8 seconds behind. So there's still a couple of battles up and down the field. Moving on to 6th position, Jason McGregor. He's battling it out with Dean Orkier, and he's made it past Dean Orkier down the Camel Straight. So he's picked up that slipstream and made that pass stick, and that Jason might then carry on his way. Just want to move back to this little battle. Tinus Buerta with Ruan Soliers, 0.8 seconds behind, and Reinhard Harmon not that far behind. So this is still very much a 3-car battle. And then further down, George Rotenbach, 0.8 seconds behind Reginald. These two still jostling for position, trying to find their feet in the running. But out in front, Jordan Sherritt has now stretched that lead to 6.6 seconds. We have a look at Ethan Laguna making his way around the track, trying to catch up to Bernard Parkhazen in 3rd position. I want to extend an invite to all the drivers that's participating in this 24-hour. If you would like to come and make a turn in the commentary box for a quick interview, make your way to the interview room. I'll try and keep an eye on there. If there's somebody in there, I'll try and drag them into the commentary box, and we can chat a bit on what are your well, I don't know if you're going to share your strategy for the race, but how's the racing going so far? What challenges or issues have you had, and what are your goals for the 24? So anybody more than welcome to come and join me in the commentary box now or a little bit later as the race goes along. Whenever I'm here, then we can have a quick chat. This little three-car battle between Ruan Silvia, Tinas Buerta and Reinhard Harman, it's definitely not, the gaps are definitely not being built there. They're still very much sticking very closely together. And just in front of them, 8th position, Martin Rotenbach. He's still following Paul Venter very closely. This is still the first stint. We'll have to see how far these drivers are going to go into the race before they decide to make their first pit stop. Not just their first pit stop, but when they decide to do a driver swap, will they do single stints, double stints? And not very common, but we do sometimes get drivers doing triple stints in these type of endurance races. As we have a quick look at Tariq Adams, his last lap time 2 minutes 18.4. Jordan Sherritt, he did a 2:17.3, quickest lap of the race so far. So Jordan at this stage is very much starting to build that gap on the rest of the field. 8.1 seconds ahead of Tariq Adams. And then in third place, Bernard Barkhuizen. He's 6.6 seconds behind Tariq Adams. So Tariq slowly but surely also pulling out a little bit of a gap over Bernard Barkhuizen. Lionel Clue having a little bit of an off track, or had a pit stop. He's rejoining the track out of the pits. And then in 17th position, Neil Bouillon, he's also currently in the pits. Don't think at this stage that was a planned pit stop. Might have been a bit of a forced pit stop at this stage. Still very early in the race to do your first pit stop. Back to another battle for Tinas Buerta and Ruan Silvia just in front of him. Reinhard Harman 1.3 seconds back. He's trying to close that gap to these two. And Flip van Zyl is starting to make up his ground. He's now only 0.8 of a second behind George Rotenbach. So he's trying to claw his way back up the field after that lap 1 incident. Unfortunately we missed it. That dropped him right back to the back of the field. See him have a little look on the inside, but George at this stage not willing to let him by just yet. As we sit in the cockpit with Flip, that's his view out of the window, watching George right up in front of that BMW. Let's see what Flip does through this section. He's going to try and get in the toe down this long straight that isn't straight, but the whole section of track is flat out on this section, trying to close that gap down before the bus stop chicane and make that pass on George Rotenbach. But at this stage he looks like he's still too far back to really put George under pressure. Rouge. Flip still a little bit further back, unable to close that gap at this stage. Going through Eau Rouge now, up to Radion, down to the Camel Straight. Is he going to get in that slipstream? I think he's too far back to maybe make a pass at this stage, although he is closing at a rate of knots. Decide against looking on the inside, so he's gonna follow George around for another little bit. This is by far the closest battle we have at this stage on track. The rest of the gaps have opened up a little bit. but we've got Flip van Zyl and George Rotenbach. They're battling it out for 15th position, and trying to make his way past to try and climb up further into the field. Good afternoon, SU, joining me in the commentary box. Okay, and you?
Good, man. Good. Just share your screen so I can see what you're talking about.
Oh, yes. That would be a very good idea. I actually forgot about that one because, no, not just kind of blind. I was kind of on my own at the moment.
I see. It's quite a relative to the start.
I'm going to share this one with you now that you at least can see what's going on there. We've decided to do a casual stream this afternoon. Everybody's welcome. And I'm saying this afternoon, but we're only going to end tomorrow afternoon. It's slightly longer than a sprint race.
Just slightly. I don't know who's going to be listening to us when it comes 3 o'clock in the morning. We might be talking about
well, if Steven is anything to go by, if he decides to join, we might be starting complaining about floppy windscreen wipers and those type of things.
but I must say the guys are racing quite good.
At this stage,
some close races, some incidents I see we've had. But hopefully the damage is not too bad.
that is kind of racing. On this battle, between Flip, I've actually moved off Flip, I've moved on to George, but between Flip and George Rotenbach at this stage. Flip had a little bit of a mishap at the start of the race. Unfortunately missed that one, so he's now trying to make his way back up the field. But both George and Flip have now caught up to Reginald, so this is now starting to turn into a 3-car battle.
Reggie's in the Honda, I presume.
And Aston. I'm gonna share my other screen that you can actually have the time. That sounds better. How's that? Now you can actually see the gaps and everything.
Somebody looking after him. Always helps.
So you're actually driving in this 20?
Yes. I'll be doing the next. Fourth place. So I'll be taking over from him, and after that, just put our
so you
don't want to scare Mark. Just put the slow guy in. Just get the tires warm, and then the fast guys will come later.
So basically you're saying Ethan is your slowest driver.
We're looking with the plan.
Oh, okay, no, I see. I see.
No, but I think we're looking forward to it. It's my first one, so I think we have our internet as well. Some of us have. So it's a lot of planning, a lot of time. Setting up the car, it's a real team. I think come tomorrow this time, we're glad it's over.
Now, you said it's a team effort. Now, when you're driving solo, you're doing a setup, you're setting the car up around yourself to suit your driving style. But if you're doing endurance racing, you can't exactly do that. You need to set up a car to suit everybody.
And that's the difficult. Remember, when you're driving yourself, you've got only limited to just receiving a car while on the track.
Yeah, exactly.
So everything else has to be set up before that. Driving style is different, so it takes a lot of time behind the scenes to get it set up that everybody's comfortable with. So you need input from everybody. You build a setup, everybody takes it out, you see what works, is it too loose at the back, too loose at the front, that type of thing. So everybody's input gets collaborated to make a few tunes and set up a few things to make sure you get that car in such a condition that everybody feels comfortable with driving.
Exactly. Now, you said it was your first 24.
This is
If I may ask, how many drivers are That's good. It's a good split. It's a good split among drivers.
Yeah, and then you'll just see
Now, let me tell you something. Me and Steven did a 25 a couple of weeks ago. That's what I'm getting to. We had the horrible idea of let's see if we can do a 24-hour with just 2 drivers. And we did, because me and Steven have done multiple 12 hours together. We've done 6 hours, 4 hours. So we knew we can do a 12-hour, but we asked ourselves, can we do a 24? And we had the excellent idea to do it, and 12 hours into the race, we kind of figured it out. It was a horrible idea to try and do it. Well, everybody thought we were mad, but my first stint at the start of the race, I did about 4.5 hours. Then Steven took over and he did about 5 hours. In that 5 hours, I had a bit of a sleep, and then I came back for about 4 hours again. And that's where we decided this was a horrible idea. But we finished. We did the 24. We finished 6th in our class. And we're very proud of ourselves, but we'll never do it again. Next time, a couple more guys can join us, please. Okay. Tweak it up for you.
Probably let us know if it's...
they can just let us know if it's better. I see.
But I do believe, do we have... Speaking of directions, don't we have one guy doing solo for 24 hours?
I don't know, but that'll
be interesting to know if we have one. I mean, that guy needs to know. If there is one that does a 24 hours,
Ooh, I don't know if I will even try and attempt it, to be very honest with you. That's brave.
That's extremely brave.
And as I said to you, we've got a nice little learner driver sticker there on the back of Ruan Silier's Aston Martin. That's a little nice touch.
Yeah, we told him he must put it on because it just suits him so well.
when we did the I'm talking about the first virtual car long 9 hour, we actually got in trouble with our livery. We took the Aston Martin and then we made it a full crash test vehicle with danger signs all over, learner's driver sticker at the back. Some of the guys loved it, others hated it.
Some have been lagging. Ruan obviously he had to move his whole rig to his uncle's house.
Yeah.
And stays on a farm. Internet is obviously not very stable, so hats off to him for making the effort and move the rig and everything over to a more suitable venue, so that we don't have any lagging on the stream. Because his internet was notoriously unreliable, like we've experienced a couple of times already.
These type of things are some of the stuff that we are all dealing with, not just that load shedding. I mean, unfortunately, load shedding is a reality that we're dealing with, and I myself will have to start switching over between backup power and mains power as the race goes on. So it's one of those unfortunate things that, you know, sometimes we'll have to end the stream and then start it back up again after a couple of minutes. But yeah, what can we do?
Yeah, it looks like Harman got past Celia there. Nice little move on the inside.
Yeah, they're still very much battling it out a little bit.
Yeah.
It's one of the closer battles that we've got, and you know, the other one is Reginald. He's not far behind George Rotenbach at this stage, but this Ruan-Sillier battle, this is at the moment the closest battle we've got on track. I don't know about that learner sticker. I don't believe that.
Well, we'll see as the time goes on if there's still any paint left on the behind of that. Maybe that learner sticker will be rubbed off by the end of this race.
Now, if the next driver...
He got passed again now.
Yeah, he got passed.
Yeah, so they are like swapping and switching over these two guys.
Now...
Going not hanging back at all at this stage.
Now, if the next driver gets in, does the learner sticker, does it have to be removed or does it stay on the car?
No, it stays on. That's your vehicle. You just take good care of it.
And just
bring it home. That's the main thing.
Now, your team, are you going to share strategy, or is it at this stage still a secret?
No, we've got a saying in our team, and that is just drive faster.
Okay, it's as simple as that.
Just drive faster. We've got one of our teammates, the one playing us. Just as soon as we complain, "No, I'm struggling around this corner. No, the car doesn't feel right," he just always says, "Just drive faster." As if it's so easy just to drive faster. It's not that easy just to drive faster. You can drive faster, but you're gonna collect a wall and collect a few other guys in the process.
Yeah, you know, at this stage of the race, and I know we're not even half an hour into it. We've got Jordan Sherritt out in front. Now Jordan's opened up a 14 second gap over Tariq Adams, and
those guys are quick. That's some serious space there.
Yeah, and then third place we've got Bernard Barkhuizen. He's 11 seconds behind Tariq, and then Ethan behind them. So the top two at this stage looks like they've opened up a serious gap at this stage. I mean, and then Ethan is not far behind Bernard, and then, you know, we've got Jason McGregor 13 seconds back. So Ethan is, your slower driver is not doing too badly at this stage.
No, he's not doing bad at all. We told him, just don't go in slow. That's fine. Just keep it there. That's fine. We don't want to scare the guys.
Now his last lap time was at 2:18.8. How quick are the rest of you then?
No, that's something you'll have to see as the time goes on.
Okay, so if I'm looking at Jordan, which did a 2:17.5, you guys might reach the high 16s.
No, I don't think so. No, they're like, Jordan Sherritt, that's guys just in a different league. No catching him without some serious luck or intervention somewhere. But no, it's all good. I think a races like this is just about just a camaraderie in the team effort, doing something that's quite an accomplishment, I think, when you finish it. Just to bring it home and just have some fun. I mean, that's what it's all about. Just have to do something that's passionate.
I love that rear wing for Summer Van Lag. It's absolutely true, and when we do these long endurance, you know, it's I would say almost the first 20 hours we don't even look at what position you're in. It's just that you're more racing yourself than anybody else, and trying to make it to the end.
Just staying consistent. I think that's the main thing. Just stay consistent, stay stable, don't damage the car, because that's your worst enemy in a race like this. Damage or so that's your race. So if you just take it nice and smooth, you don't have to go at a blistering pace. Just keep it nice and smooth. Make sure that you stay out of trouble, and that should bring you home nicely. I mean, if you have the pace, if you have the pace, you have it. If you don't have it, it's not the end of the world. It's just competing against yourself. Like
yeah, in the race that we did a couple of weeks ago, we didn't race anybody until about the last 3 hours of the race. We started figuring out who's where. We started monitoring the guys, who's pitting at what time, and we started working out where can we potentially finish up. It's not that we were driving slowly, we were just not worried in what position. We tried protecting that car, bringing it home to the end without making the least amount of pits as possible. Because in a race like this, it can be won and lost in the pits.
Yeah, and especially at Spa as well, because you've got a massive car.
It's
like takes you a minute just to reach your own pits.
Yeah, it's so like the N1 between Pretoria and Joburg.
No, you don't want to spend a lot of time with it. So the less you need to go there, the better. But obviously, you will need some fuel, tires and everything. So, but limiting that visit to the pits will be crucial.
Absolutely, and we're not even an hour into the race. This is still very early days. This is still the warm-up time for the race.
Yeah, absolutely. I must just make sure our livery is not displaying correctly, so you have a chance getting one of these switches. Make sure that you see the full glory.
Can I ask you a favor? Our next switch over, unfortunately, it's going to be in the next 15 minutes. We're going to switch off and transfer. Send me that livery on Discord so I can quickly load it up here before I start the next one.
While we are talking as well, technology is making so much easier. Being able to do this, sitting in totally different places all around the country, sharing something on one screen and how technology helps us doing these things.
Yeah, then we can show the guys what your car actually looked like. As I mentioned before, you know, unfortunately we do have stuff like load shedding. I'm on back on power at the moment. I'm letting it just run for a while. We're going to quickly do a switch over. We're going to be down for about 5 or so minutes, and then we're going to be up again and show you the rest of the action. Hopefully we'll be able to bring you as much of the action as possible throughout the 24. We might not always be here, but you at least will have something to watch on the screen.
The other one, I'll just send that straight to you.
Send it straight to me. I will on the switch over quickly. Load. I've got it. Yep, got it.
And it'll look nice and pretty.
Nice and pretty. Now, your first stint, are you guys doing single, double, triple?
Well, with the load shedding, that's sort of hampering everyone, and some of the guys not being available. Yet some of them still working, so some of the guys haven't even come online yet. So yeah, we just juggle the guys that we have currently and make sure that we don't tire out anybody too quickly, and just share the joy. That's the main thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, that's one of the things we struggled quite a lot with when me and Steven did the 24. Because we were only 2 drivers, we had to work around load shedding, and the guy doing the other guy's stint during load shedding, you know, you try and put as close to that load shedding window as possible, but sometimes not possible to pit resulted in the other guy having to do almost a 3-hour stint, because you know that's going to be your last stop before load shedding. And with
and you have to stretch it as well, because if your power goes off while you're driving, then you sort of disconnect as well. So you have to make sure that you switch over before the power goes off, before it goes back on, and that type of thing. That can be an absolutely nightmare.
Jordan Sherrod, he's making his way through the field now already. He's lapping the guys. So with Spa being a long track, 45 minutes into the race, it shows you the pace that he's running. Now, I need to ask this question. Who do you see as your main rivals in this race?
Sure, that's difficult. I think anybody, well, if you look at the start, so I think anybody in the top 10, barring any mistakes or anything like that, anybody in the top 10 will probably be guys that you're backing with. Probably not the fastest guys, obviously, around teams and so on, but we are very, very proud of where we started, and we just hope we just keep that position, just keep it nice and clean and everything, and bring it home safely. Anything can happen. One little small move through a rouge, back steps out, and makes it all. So just that pit stop is 2 laps away. It's such a dangerous track. So that's the one thing I think you need to look out for as well. I mean, the slightest little incident can cause a massive time difference. All of a sudden, you can drop 5 or 6 places just because you have to teleport back to the pits.
No, absolutely. I mean, and the corner they're coming now, the infamous Eau Rouge, that's a corner you can get wrong all by yourself. You don't even need cars around you. And to get back from there to the pits, as we saw in the sprint race and in the grid championship on Thursday, it's a long drive with a damaged car.
Sometimes the car is so damaged because you come to the extreme ice, and if you connect that wall on the right hand side coming over the little face, and then you connect that with such force, most of the time the car is basically total, so you won't necessarily be able to even drive it back. So, and as soon as you teleport, you get additional time penalty as well. That's the difficult part about the illusion, specifically just after the pit. So it's crawling back to the pits from that will be a lot of time.
Yeah, that brings me back to a point for you, mate. You can literally race with anyone. I mean, at this stage, and please, I'm not jinxing anybody here, but I mean, at this stage, we've got Jordan 17 seconds out in front. To use, I don't want to use him as an example, but to use a gap like that, you've got the leader 17 seconds out in front. The leader makes one mistake, you know, as you said, a 2-minute tow, he finds himself all of a sudden right at the back of the grid.
Yeah, it's as easy as that, specifically on a track like Spa. Because your dangerous areas is Rouge, obviously. And that's why I think the old heads, the sensible heads, just focus, just hit the line. Even if you're a bit slower, that's fine. Just take it nice and easy. Make sure you get through there with no issues. That's the most important thing.
Yes, absolutely. And what I tend to do in these type of endurance races to try and motivate me and so forth, I race against myself. I always try and better my best lap time. And I go after that lap time, lap after lap. Not that I don't say I'm hot lapping, but that's how I tend to keep my concentration.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. I think as well that because as the fuel starts burning down, the car gets faster, but then on the other side again, your tires get warm. So it's a double-edged sword. On one side you're getting lighter, quicker in that way, but your tires don't have the same amount of grip anymore that they had in the start, so you start sliding a bit more around on the track, and so you can start chasing your own tail in a situation like that, because they will get to a point probably where your fuel is nice and low, but your tires just don't have the grip to better that time. So I think at some stage it's good to find a consistent time that's not too fast, not overdriving the car to get faster, but also not a slow one as well. So that you just make sure that you can aim for that time every single lap. I think that's how I approach a race like this. I know from all the practice that we've done with the car, with all the various loads of fuel and everything, you know roughly what your times are. So if you can just focus on hitting that time and just staying there, then you know that you're performing within your ability, and if you get a quick lap here or there, then the benefit. But I would be scared to get a driver and maybe ruin it for everybody else as well.
As you see Dean Kabasa, a little bit of sideways action, or a little side-by-side action there, and that's kind of a dangerous part of the track, through Eau Rouge, up Radion to go side by side. But we've seen contact earlier on in the race through there, but at this stage, Dean making it stick, carrying on his merry way. I want to ask you one last question.
Yeah, before I go on.
Yeah. Do you guys expect rain?
Well, it's been a discussion, a long discussion. I do doubt it. I think the guys have made it clear that they've had enough. Mazzano was almost a full replacement. They had a couple of other ones. So I think just to level the playing field and make it more strategic, because it's very difficult, especially on the you don't want guys sitting inside all over the place. You want to have some good, clean, good old-fashioned racing as well. So I doubt if you'll have rain. I do doubt if you'll have rain. So
and I think
it'll be nice.
I think on a track like Spa, the darkness is also more than enough.
Yeah, going through Eau Rouge at night will be challenging in itself.
But okay, I'm gonna.
Gentlemen, I will catch you again a bit later. Let me go and join my team on the other side and get ready for my turn.
Not a problem. Enjoy and all the best. I will keep an eye out for you on the stream. And with that said, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to do our first switch over. Just quickly do a quick switch over, and then we will be back in about 5 to 10 minutes. So we'll see you on the other side.